Okay, good evening.
Good evening.
In accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 1046 PL 1975 C231 S1, amended 2006 C70 S2. The Asbury Park Board of Education has provided adequate notice of this meeting by sending a notice of the time, date, location, and to the extent known, the agenda of this meeting to the Asbury Park Press and the New Coaster on January 4th, 2019 by email. Copies of this notice have also been placed at the Administration Building Bulletin Board, District Schools, Asbury Park Municipal Building, Asbury Park Police Department, and filed with the City Clerk on January 4th, 2019. The Asbury Park School District will provide all students with a comprehensive and progressive education where everyone possesses the skills and character to succeed in a diverse, evolving global society. That is our mission statement. Mr. Hastings, roll call, please.
Ms. Etienne? Present. Mr. Grillo?
Present.
Ms. Jones?
Here.
Mr. Lataracco?
Here.
Ms. Lazinski?
Here.
Mr. Pinckney? Mr. Saunders? Ms. Breach? Ms. Alves Anderson?
Here. Please stand for the flag salute. Okay, I'm going to begin with the report of the committees. So, Ms. Lazinski, are you prepared to report out on both athletics and policy?
I don't believe we had an athletic committee meeting. If we did, I was not in attendance. Policy, we didn't because we have a second reading from last month and we haven't gone over the weapons policy. I did have a conversation with Adam about it, but I haven't gotten a document yet about what we talked about.
That completes your report. Thank you. Mr. Lataracca, for finance, please.
Thank you. The Finance Committee met on November 13th. I don't know if everyone has the minutes. The discussion was the initial discussion with regard to the district budget for what would be 2022. As part of our action plan, in terms of the board goal, we really just wanted to take this first step of seeing where we were, what is the issue, or what I would refer to, are there any passive savings that are coming about prior to then building the budget. So we went through enrollment. An increase in enrollment would increase funding next year. We anticipate enrollment is not finalized yet. There's still issues where districts appeal over whether an individual student is in one district versus another based on their facts. So we don't have a final enrollment figure, but our anticipation is that enrollment is going to be flat or slightly down. We looked at reserve accounts. Is there extra money in reserve accounts right now? In past years, we've looked at that in balancing the budget. We don't see that as an option going into the next budget year. There's been discussion about the new health plan that was passed by the state. There were some huge numbers discussed by state governmental leaders in terms of overall savings to school districts. It's our understanding that the school districts we're seeing reporting are not seeing those savings, and we do not anticipate savings, as well as there is the new health plan option for individuals, as well as the new employees will take the new option. However, it does not seem, and we're not going to anticipate much of a savings when you actually crunch the numbers, what the individual premiums go down, but what the individual employee pays could result in the district being right back where we were. So again, there's not much there. In terms of additional grant activity, primarily the good news and the bad news, primarily grants are COVID-based right now. We do have the CARES money. To the extent we've had additional expenses, they have been covered by the CARES grant. But again, in terms of anything passively where maybe other grants have been obtained, whereby some administrative expenses might be saved that we can anticipate going into next year, is not the case. So at the end of the discussion, the good news is, as we anticipate the $5.8 million reduction in adjustment aid under S2, the good news is we're not in a situation where we've incurred additional costs to date, whereby we're going to have to look at a bigger deficit. But the bad news is there are not these other avenues of funding there, of monies there that might be applied. So as we're going in, we're going to be looking at a 5.8 million number that has to be met by both proactive cuts and increase in revenue. We're currently under the local tax base at 10.4 million. When we started the process, I think we were at just under 8 million. The state formula is directing that the municipality pay almost 22 million. So again, we're on track where every year through this S2 process, there's going to be some degree of a split between revenue generation and budget cuts. But final analysis, the number is 5.8 million, and that's what we're going to be looking at. There's been no surprises to the positive or to the negative from our discussion back in the committee meeting.
Thank you, Mr. LaRocca. Are there any questions for our chairman? Okay, thank you very much. Madam Etienne, Chairperson of Buildings and Grounds.
Good evening. Okay, so we have no facilities request use. COVID-19 cleaning protocols are still in place. The district continues to do the 3-phase system of cleaning. So cleaning, sanitizing, and electrostatic spraying. All touch points are wiped down on an hourly basis. That's like the door handles and such. The classrooms have been provided, the classroom teachers have been provided with wipes and sanitizing sprays, and the custodians continue to follow all the protocols outlined on the roadback plan. We also spoke about the central office relocation. There are a couple options on the table. There's the 3rd floor of Barack Obama Elementary School. There is the space between the middle school and Barack Obama. We also explored behind the high school, and we're looking at like a modular. We're supposed to have a long-term plan presentation. So a meeting will be set between the superintendent and the architect for final reviews for the long-term plan. Once the plan is complete, a presentation will be provided to the Buildings and Ground Committee and or the full board, likely in December or January. Additionally, we talked about the basketball courts behind the high school, because we had talked about making the courts available, but we're kind of going back and forth. But When we were considering that, when we're looking at it, the surface of the courts were damaged because there was a batting cage installed at some point and they drilled into the ground. So if we want to use it, we have to use it, we have to resurface, and also there is a flooding issue back there. So that would be another concern. Any questions?
The question I have is, what's the cost of a modular as opposed to moving into Barack Obama? What costs are we looking at?
Well, I did ask for a detailed itemized breakdown of both, so we should be presented with that so we can fairly compare.
Any other questions for Buildings and Grounds? Thank you, Madam Chair. And now the Chair of C&I, Curriculum and Instruction, Mr. Pickney.
Okay, just a few things. Recommend approval for the Asbury Park School District to continue the collaboration with Wellspring Center for Prevention. Collaboration is going to provide the following prevention programming to students through December 31st. Life skills training. It's offering, which offers a comprehensive approach to reducing youth violence and substance use. Offered at 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade at Bradley Elementary and DLK, Upper Elementary. A six-session LST after-school program offered to 10 referred students in the 4th and 5th grades. And for parents and grandparents and other caregivers, Raising Youth in Asbury Park, a 4-session LST for parents program will be offered, no cost to the district. Board approval for Asbury Park School District to continue the collaboration with Wellspring Center for Prevention through from January 1st, 2021 through December 31st, 2021 also, which will be no cost to the district. Recommend approval for the MOU between Asbury Park High School and Rutgers State University, which is a continuation of the dual credit program for allied health students for school year 2020 to 2021. And also seeking approval for the Ready, Set, Grow Academy proposal to work with our parent center in providing virtual in-person parent classes through their Empowered Parent University program. And that completes my report.
Are there any questions for Mr. Pickney? Okay, thank you. Oh, thank you, Mr. Pickney. And now, Mr. Hastings, for public participation in accordance with, in accordance with Board Policy 0167.
Yes, we have no emails at this time.
Thank you. Then I will close public participation. Madam Superintendent, review of regular meeting agenda items.
Good evening, board members. Are there any questions regarding items on B1? B2? B3? B4? Or B5? Seeing as though there are no questions, Madam President, that completes my review of that section.
Thank you, Madam Superintendent. And seeing that we have time, Mr. Hastings, would you like to go through your agenda?
Thank you, Madam President. I'd be happy to take any questions on items 1C1 through 1C5. And I would just note that we do have several donations that are being accepted by the board for the holiday season.
No questions? All right, thank you. So So we're a little early, but I'm going to read this. Okay. Whereas the Open Public Meeting Act allows for the exclusion from discussion at the public portion of a meeting of certain matters as outlined below, and whereas the Asbury Park Board of Education wishes to discuss such matters made and will make such discussion public when a proper conclusion has been reached. Now therefore, be it resolved that the November 19, 2020 at Asbury Park, New Jersey, for the purpose or purposes as outlined and described below, upon return, and I don't believe any action will be taken, but we are going to go into closed session to discuss personnel matters, and we will reconvene at about 7 o'clock. Thank you.
I'll make a motion to go into exec.
Okay, question? All right, thank you. Okay, good evening. First of all, I wanted to apologize to everyone. This has been a lengthy closed executive session, but this is something that needed to be handled. So apologize for the lengthy delay, but we are now going to move forward with our 7 o'clock meeting. So good evening. In accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meeting Act, NJSA 1046 PL 1975 C231 S1, amended 2006 C70 S2, the Asbury Park Board of Education has provided adequate notice of this meeting by sending a notice of the time, date, location, and to the extent known, the agenda of this meeting to Asbury Park Press and the New Coaster on January 3rd, 2020 by email. Copies of this notice have also been placed at the Administration Building, Bulletin Board, District Schools, Asbury Park Municipal Building, Asbury Park Police Department, and filed with the City Clerk on January 3rd, 2020. Our mission statement is that the Asbury Park School District will provide all students with a comprehensive and progressive education where everyone possesses the skills and character to succeed in a diverse, evolving global society. Mr. Hastings, roll call, please.
Ms. Etienne? Present. Mr. Grillo?
Here.
Ms. Jones?
Here.
Mr. Ladoranco?
Here.
Ms. Lozinski?
Here.
Mr. Pinckney?
Here.
Mr. Saunders? Ms. Breach? Ms. Alexander?
Here. Please stand for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Superintendent, your presentation.
Good evening, members of the board. Tonight, I'm just going to report out on a few items. Our enrollment comparisons from this time last year to this year indicate we have a slight increase in enrollment in grades kindergarten, 6th, 7th, 10th, and 12th. However, overall district-wide, we are noting that we do have a decline in our enrollment and a decrease of approximately 170 students. As it relates to activities and events that have been occurring in our district, I just want to note a few. One, we had a presentation for Veterans Day where we had Staff Sergeant Marcus Dorlis, who came into our district and met with our students, and he created a video for them to talk to them about the Air Force. And so we want to make sure that we are giving our students opportunities to hear from individuals that are boots on the ground, and we want to thank him for that, Staff Sergeant, for that wonderful presentation at Thurgood Marshall Elementary School. In addition, we have had instant decision days where we've had 9 students accepted to Montclair State and 4 additional students are pending further review. 14 students have been accepted to Kane University. And we also are awaiting information about the scholarships that those students will be in receipt of. We know that thus far we're looking at a dollar amount somewhere over $110,000. The school counseling department has also created an advisory council of school counselors, administrators, teachers, parents, students, and a board of ed and community partners. And so their first meeting scheduled for the 24th. And last, I want to just report out on our turkey basket giveaway. We were able to give thanks baskets out to 42 families on this past Friday. I want to thank board members, Board Member Joe Grillo, who was in attendance to support that, and our board members that regularly come out. These are unprecedented times, and so in an effort to make sure we keep our numbers small, we didn't want to have too many individuals there, but thank you to all of the board members for your support in that endeavor. We have our second giveaway today at the Parent Center, and we continue to reach out to our parents and our families to see that their needs are being met through the donations and the generosity of our community partners. That completes my report.
Thank you, Madam Superintendent. And now we have public participation in accordance with Board Policy 0167. Mr. Hastings?
We have no comments at this time.
And public participation is open to the public. If there's anyone that would like to come to the podium. Okay, and thank you. It is now closed. State Monitor, do you have a report, Madam State Monitor?
You're all tired.
Thank you, State Monitor. Acceptance of minutes, Mr. Hastings?
Thank you, Madam President. Could I have a motion for item 10A through D on A1 and A2?
I'll move. Second.
Question? Roll call, please.
Ms. Etienne?
Yes.
Ms. Lozinski?
Yes.
Mr. Grillo?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. LaRocca?
Yeah.
Mr. Pinckney?
Yes.
Mr. Saunders? Ms. Alves Anderson?
Yes.
Motion carries.
And now, Madam Superintendent, would you like to ask for a consent agenda?
I'd like to request a consent agenda for items B1 to B5 and all the appropriate attachments.
Second.
Question? Roll call, Mr. Hastings, please.
So all items B1 to B5, Mr. Pinckney?
Yeah.
Ms. Lozinski?
Yes.
Ms. Etienne?
Yes.
Mr. Grillo?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. LaRocca?
Yeah.
Mr. Saunders? And Ms. Alves Anderson?
Yes.
All items carried.
Mr. Hastings, when you are ready, would you like to ask for a consent agenda?
Yes, Madam President. Could I have a motion for all items C1, number 1 to C5, number 1?
Second.
Question? Roll call, Mr. Hastings, please.
Ms. Etienne?
Yes.
Mr. Grillo?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. LaRocca?
Yes.
Ms. Lozinski?
Yes.
Mr. Pinckney?
Yeah.
Mr. Saunders? And Ms. Alves Anderson?
Yes.
All items carried.
Okay. Thank you very much. Before you ask for a motion, make a motion to adjourn, I'd like to take this time to wish each and every one of you, especially those in our community, a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday. It's different this year, but we know that you will do the best, make the best. You can even have a Zoom Thanksgiving meeting. But we do wish you from the Board of Education, wish you a happy and make it a safe one. So thank you very much to everyone here. Happy Thanksgiving, and I will see you next month. Madam Lozinski, would you like to make a motion for
Sure, make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you.